Hi. The two articles I looked at were both written in February this year in response to a study done by Michael Bailey at Northwestern University in Chicago. The study looked at the role genetics can play in male homosexuality.
So I've been studying the genetics of sexual orientation using twin studies, for 25 years or so. I think that male sexual orientation is inborn, and I think that we have pretty good reason to think that it is.
This study looked at just over 400 gay brothers and the heterosexual members of their family. The research found that similarities in the XQ28 region of the X chromosome were more likely to be shared by the homosexual pairs of brothers than by the brothers and their other siblings. The study also found regions on chromosome 8 which appeared to be linked to homosexuality. Although the brothers shared similarities in these regions, there were no individual genes that stood out across all the participants. The first article is from the Australian online website and is called "Homosexuality is in the Genes, Say Scientists." It was written by Hannah Devlin, who is a science correspondent and reporter for The Times, London. The article also ran in The Times. The article initially discusses the study and its findings. Devlin just discusses the basic details and for the most part avoids overly scientific language that may be inaccessible for the everyday reader. The image accompanying the article on the Australian newspaper website is a computer-drawn double helix, which doesn't really add anything to the story and just acts to make the article look more scientific. The words "Say Scientists" tacked onto the end of the article's title are most likely also trying to add some scientific backing and intrigue from the get-go. The article quotes Kazi Rahman, a London psychologist who believes the term gay gene should be avoided. Studies relating genetics to homosexuality often throw around the terms gay gene or homosexual gene, almost always presented in inverted commas. This can be problematic, as there is no one specific gay gene, and it is more likely that there are many genes that to an extent influence sexual orientation. This term misrepresents the facts to the public, especially when the everyday newspaper reader would not have an in-depth knowledge of genetics. As one example, if hypothetically there was one specific gene for homosexuality, then it may be possible to develop a test to determine sexuality before birth. It is easy to see why this may be problematic. So leading the public to believe that there is one specific gay gene by using the term gay gene should be avoided. I found it interesting that this article mentions that some people believe homosexuality is a Darwinian paradox. If male homosexuality is genetic and gay men reproduce less than heterosexual men, then theoretically, by the rules of evolution, this trait should eventually disappear over time. On doing some more research into this concept, I found an article that talks about the XQ28 region of the chromosome that the Bailey study found to be linked to homosexuality. This article believes that this region of DNA also assists in making women more fertile, and that perhaps that's why it survived evolution. The second article I looked at appeared in The Age 4 days later on February 18th this year. Its title is "Gay Genetics Research Still Causes Irrational Fears." The article was written by Tim Spector, who is the Director of the Department of Twin Research and Genetic Epidemiology at St Thomas Hospital in London. He is also the author of the book Identically Different: Why You Can Change Your Genes. The image accompanying the article is of two boys kissing at a rally flanked by police. Although Spector does not use too much scientific jargon, I believe the language in this article is less simplified for the reader. The article also opens with discussing the recent Bailey study. Spector goes on to discuss controversies in the area, the difficulties with articles in this area, and the point of this research. Spector believes that one of the reasons people react so violently to these studies is a lack of understanding of basic biology and science, and also the inability to realise that for a scientist, homosexuality is just another human characteristic or trait, such as sporting ability, obesity, or depression. Well, that's all I've got time to share today. Thanks for listening.